New chapter, new beginning, new hope. Whatever you call it, in motoring terms, the DB11 is it. It's the car that Aston Martin is betting its future on, and it's not leaving anything to chance. That's why the DB11 gets a new look, an all-new platform, a new V12 engine and transmission. The British sports car maker cannot afford to get this wrong, but boy does it have a hard act to follow. It's appropriate then that the DB11 will also shape Aston's future. It will underpin new sports cars, Lagonda limousines, and even SUVs. Most cars, this is a design cue, right? Not in the DB11. Lifting the bonnet there. Actually, it's not a bad looking V12. More on that later. Okay, so normally car wheel spins around that way as you're going along. This one actually uses the turbulent air that comes off this front tyre, the sort of the high pressure air, for an aero effect. So what happens is it vents through these little grills here, exits here. Now in this strake, if you look carefully later, there's these little bumps, and that actually causes a tumble effect in the air. So what happens is it bounces all the way around here and goes straight through there. And why does it do that? What happens is it's vented all the way back here, and there's some air outlets here. Pops up here, and you have an air spoiler. So basically Aston Martin can get extra downforce without actually having a proper wing. Clever, hey? Funny enough, the beauty of this cabin is probably what you can't see. Recently, Daimler bought 5% of Aston Martin, and as part of the deal, Aston Martin got the electronic architecture. So all of this is Mercedes-Benz, so it's going to work. And for people who owned the last DB9, oh my God, the Sat-Nav was appalling. So now you have a Sat-Nav that works, and it should be, should be reliable in here. The textures and materials is top drawer, but it should be for a car that costs more than $400,000. What we don't like, this tablet here just looks awful. It feels like it's just been stuck on there, so it feels like a little iPad or something. And the dash. There's things I love and hate about the dash. Love the fact you can read it now. The last one was very confusing, and my God, was it difficult to read sometimes. And the dials go the right way. Things I don't like about it is, I'm sorry, but beside Audi's dashes, this really does lack in clarity and design. But overall, it's a huge improvement. There's a bit of bad news we need to discuss. This car is 100 kilos heavier than a DB9, and that's not impressive. In Aston Martin's defence, this car is significantly bigger. It's wider, it's longer, it's got more space inside the cabin, but all that weight needs to be managed. Luckily, the new chassis, which is all aluminium again, and it's bonded, there's no welding, is 40% stiffer. But there's another advantage to the new layout. It has its engine sat behind the front axle for the first time. And to get a 50-50 weight distribution, the gearbox, an 8-speed ZF automatic, is actually mounted in the transaxle, so you can split the weight, and that helps handling. Where the old DB9 used to understeer when you pushed hard, this car has a far more neutral and adjustable approach. But listen to this. A valve in the exhaust, and it sounds like that, which is pretty awesome. And the way the engine delivers it just has to be witnessed. I mean, it does not feel like a turbo engine. Despite its tricky positioning, the DB11 scores. It manages to combine a better mix of comfort and agility and wraps it up in a near irresistible package. Best of British? You better believe it.